pretty calm dude.
Yeah, he's not really a shenanigan maker. I had a wonderful time buying all of the rocks, as you guys can see in front of you. After we're done here with our messenger bag, however far we get today, I don't know how far we're going to get today, but we'll go until we're done.
We'll see.
Yeah, and then we're going to sell some cabochons to you in the Twitch after party. So if anybody is interested in that, if you don't want to hang out for a whole of this video, come back on Twitch in about an hour, and we'll be selling some cabs. I've got some really great ones. I'm pretty excited about them. I spent all day yesterday getting them all out, making sure they're all ready.
Ammonites with crushed turquoise in them?
Those are ammonites with turquoise in them.
That's so pretty.
And then we've got mother of pearl ones. We've got some rutilated quartz. We have the most gorgeous agate cabs up in here that are phenomenal. We have K2, if anybody wants some granite with blue spots. Got some K2 up in the house. We've got some Larimar, little bumblebee jasper, some carnelian, some dendritic agate, and a bunch of malachite. And then some fun jaspery ones. We've got some fossilized coral. Anyways, we have all the cabs. They're really wonderful. We'll talk about that later. I've been talking about rocks for like a week though, so it's going to be a bit of a transition for me to go back to talking about leather. But if anybody needs some rock names, I'm pretty good right now. And probably for like the next month. This will stick around for a minute.
Is this week's live sale all going to be like, all right, first person to type rutilated quartz?
Right, yeah. It'll be like a spelling competition that I could not win.
Live sale?
Yeah. Alrighty, well, what are we doing today?
We are doing the messenger bag 2.0. So we've had this messenger bag pattern for a long time.
It's a long time. This is a bag that Kevin carries everywhere. We had it the whole time in Tucson. He puts his little iPad in there. It's the perfect, It's
a super cool bag, but we've heard from a lot of customers, and I've run into it before. It's pretty tough to put together.
It is difficult a little bit.
And just over time, as files get moved to new systems, or we get to a new printer, or a new person handles it, things just shift and change, so it was just ready for a revamp.
Yep. So Ryan has spent the last week doing some revamping. He made a couple versions. This is your second version?
The first one was splits, and that was last week before everyone left for St. Louis. And the second one was yesterday.
That's right.
So this new pattern is hot, brand new, as of yesterday.
Yeah. Alrighty. So for those of you out there that maybe already have this, do you want to maybe go over a couple of the alterations that you made?
Yeah, so the biggest one in my mind is these extra pockets that are on the outside of the front and back now have a slight taper to them. So instead of sitting flush against at the top, there's a little bit of room here. So the thing I noticed the first few times putting them together was you can get like an iPad or something in there. Good luck getting it back out.
Yeah, or there's nothing else
your
going
hand in there. So now you've got a little room, and that's just, you make a 1/2 inch taper on your pocket total, and it really gives you a lot of room. The strap buckles are no longer on these big long straps that sit like a foot above the bag. They're just tight little buckle holders, almost like you'd put a D-ring, and it just gets a cleaner look. It's no easier or harder to assemble. I just thought it was a nice, tidy change.
So with that, you might have to extend the strap length.
Yeah, the strap will be longer.
Yeah.
And then the number one biggest change is the way the parts go together. So the big difference here on this one is there are now 3 seams on the bottom where there was 1. So before you had 4 layers all meeting simultaneously on 1 seam. And then you had to sew your gusset through that, which was a headache and a half. It was really, really tricky. So this looks really sharp still and fits together really well. This one was, you can go through and bell knife things if you want to get these to lay down flat. There's a couple little ridge here and there, but it's the bottom of a bag. I think this is going to result in a sturdier, much faster construction. I wanted to move this more towards a beginner pattern.
Yeah, so you have 3 lines of stitching versus 1, but they're way easier to
They're all only 2 layers.
Assemble.
And then your gusset is only ever being the 3rd layer.
Right.
Not the 5th.
Right.
Which, boy, if you've tried to fit a curved gusset, that's a big change.
Yeah, and that's a really tight curve too.
Yeah.
You got like 1.5 inches there diameter probably.
I think it's 2.
So pretty tight.
And the old one, the gusset was about a 1/4 inch longer and had kind of a little square notched design, which works really well if you can get that 4-layer part to be square. But me or Andy never could. It always wanted to round. So we decided, why fight it? Make it a rounded gusset.
Yeah. I still think you still have to hand stitch
The
that
bottom.
loop.
Yeah, you're not
so you
getting
can
that in a sewing
stitch
machine.
all of this other things, and really this probably doing this layered system here is going to make it easier to machine.
Yes.
So if you have a lightweight machine,
Yep.
because really sewing through like 4 layers, even on like the class, well,
20s or so.
yeah, on your flatbed machines,
Yeah.
the 26 should do it all right still.
And even with the changes, an arm like the 26 is still nice to get up under this.
Yes.
It's still a lot easier.
Yeah.
This part here was hand sewn before, it still is, but with it being thinner, you've got a little more push and shove you can do, so you only have about that bottom 2 inches to hand stitch. But also I think this is a easier to hand stitch bag for the whole thing now, because it's time to try and punch and line up 5 layers.
That's a lot.
You only gotta do 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So that, you know, also helped move it towards a beginner pattern. But otherwise, it's
Sweet.
roughly the same.
Alrighty.
I wanted it to look the same because I think it's a really sharp bag. And that is just off of our $45 side table here in the company.
So just a $45 oil tan, one of our miscellaneous ones, and then you've got a $20 side here cut out and ready to go for us.
So our $20 sides, it's a cool kind of greenish pebble grain. Nice,
like an army green?
soft-handed.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a nice soft-handed bag. It doesn't bevel well. It's a pebble grain.
Yeah.
It's not going to bevel well. But Tokenol still got me really nice clean edges on all my exposed edges. So the first thing I did was cut out all my parts, which, you know, slight differences, but pretty standard for any project. And then burnished all the edges that are going to be exposed before they're sewn. So
That's right.
tops of all your pockets, the entire lid all the way around, tops of your gussets, things like that. So I just got those burnished up. But my first thing now is to sew on this here pocket.
Sweet.
A little additional pocket because I like an extra outside pocket on a bag. So on this one, it's the same as before. Just find wherever you want it on this outside pocket. For me, I didn't put it on that one.
Okay, yeah, so it goes here. So the flap comes down this far, so you can stick it below the flap if you wanted it to show, or you can probably house it right where the flap comes down.
Yep. And for me, I just want it just below, personally, just below the top edge of my main body. No reason to it. That's just where I like pockets to be.
So put it where you like it.
The fun thing about leatherwork is you can fix problems that no one else cares about.
You know what? You could set it kind of down this way and do a tool pocket. Like if you wanted to do a veg tan tool pocket, you could customize it.
You could put it on the lid flap. If you wanted a little key pocket.
You could.
Chuck your keys in there. Liz hates it. Don't do it. Liz will tell you.
When you flip it over, I'm worrying that it's gonna fall out. But you know, depends on what you want to put in there.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Depends on what it's for. Or on the back. If you want it on the back, you can have it exposed
It could also
on the
go
back.
on the back.
That's a better
100%.
place to have an easy access pocket than the lid flap. So,
You know.
listen to Liz, not me.
You could line this flap though and put a cabochon in your flap, or 3 of them. Anyways.
Andy style with the stitching and the
That's
cutout.
right.
Yep. So with this, I'm going to be really quick and dirty about it and just eyeball it, because we do have these 2 curves, and when you've got 2 curves, you're kind of nestling near each other. It makes it really easy to eyeball center.
That's right.
The human eye has like, I'd say within a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it's pretty darn close. It's going to be close enough. Unless you want to, do your own thing. Pull out your ruler. We got some great center finding ones. You can always go that route.
Love those. Use the tongue out of them. I didn't bring my fancy silver pen. Use a normal one.
Just a normal silver pen?
Yeah, well, I've got the one that I made the leather handle for, just using some leather scrap.
We had a raid come in earlier on Twitch.
I saw the thingy on the screen. It was Mama something or other? No, Bo something, I don't know.
Momo crafting?
Maybe.
And what I'm doing here is just marking just inside the edges of my material, where this pocket is, so I can keep my glue contained to where it ought to be. Again, not a super precision task here.
The Wisa Rock Show?
It's leather, isn't it?
That's me talking to somebody.
But it's not a Wisa.
But you're wrong.
Wisa is the leather show. Tucson is the rock show.
Son,
Oh my god.
look at me being dumb.
I was like, that's fancy. I've never heard of the Wisa Rock Show. I mean, they do have a rock show in Denver, like around where we used to go to the Wisa show. Justin he's working on it. He actually got some sleep last night.
Whoa.
I don't know, apparently that didn't help.
That doesn't help.
Didn't do anything. Yeah, we got all the cabs.
I'm gonna get ahead of it. What glue? Aqualim.
That's right. Got our Renia,
315.
the Wonder Bus.
I love
I
this
really
stuff.
need to buy myself. I use this. I bought a bottle at home and I've been using it, but I don't have a good brush to use because I didn't clean. And I just need to buy one
The
of those
Renia
stupid
silicone
silicone.
brushes, they're
I
so
know.
good.
I need to get one. Every day I go home and I sit at my workbench and I'm like, dang it.
Because you saw how gross it was when I sat down and I just peeled it off.
Yeah.
Nice clean brush. I love it. Hi,
Yeah.
Lens.
I've been applying my glue with the end of a modeling spoon.
That'll do it.
Yeah, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get it nice and thin.
Yep.
Because you got like the ridges on the spoon that want to hold.
Dear.
Everybody say hi to Luna.
Whoops.
Oops.
Did we just make the exact same oops? Mm-hmm. Luna's helping.
She's like, I want glue with you. But you cannot. That sounds like a mess waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Hello. I do still love you. I just need you to dial it back.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday, Luna snapped at me and I told her she has some serious emotional work to do before we're as close of friends again.
She just gave you one of her love bites.
She was just so excited. She hadn't seen me in a week.
Bye, Will.
So for some reason, gluing is one of those things my brain cannot work and glue at the
Yeah,
same
no,
time.
you're good. Ooh, somebody redeemed the Luna tree.
Redeemed. That's why she's
Tangled up.
making an appearance. She knows it pays off. I don't get treats. But I do get to sit in here and hang out with Liz and Tony and Justin today. So I'll take it. That's a treat.
Okay. Yeah. Do it. Come here. Do it. Do it. Luna. Do it. Oh, you're so dumb sometimes. There's that.
Stubborn. Very smart always.
Do it. Do it. Maybe it'll help if I'm standing up. Do it. Do it. Do it.
So I'm guessing that's one of the ones where you accidentally ended up with the command for the trick?
Well, no. So our little boost. Come on. Do it. There we go.
Oh.
I mean, if it helps, like she doesn't want to jump on people, I make her do it.
Right.
No, so our little Chiweenie, that's his only move. That's the only thing that he knows how to do. And so that was the accidental thing. And
see.
so he'll beg.
Now it
He's
applies to all dogs.
Yeah, so he's just, I mean, he's like 7 pounds, guys. He's like this big. He's tiny. He's a Chihuahua. He's mostly Chihuahua. He has the long legs like a wiener dog and like the really long snout, but he's Chihuahua sized.
Long legs.
Yeah, he has really long legs.
Weird. Don't wiener dogs have little legs?
Oh, well, maybe he has
And like a
Chihuahua
long
legs and like a long
wheelbase?
big. I don't know, man. He's a funky looking dog. He's the
Yeah.
skinniest little thing.
Aw.
And he's just, anyways, he's
He
got
sounds
big
precious.
bug eyes. And so his only thing that he knows how to do is he stands on his back legs and he does this. He begs, right? So he'll like pop around and like he'll hop and do this.
Until it works.
Yeah. And so we say, Booze, do it. And so then he does this. That's what he does. He says, do it. And he does that. So anyways, so when Miko was growing up, our husky, he saw that and he's
Oh my
like,
God.
I can do it too. So he jumps up.
Oh my god.
And so he'll do, like, at the night when he gets all of his treats, his last thing is he jumps up and he grabs my arms because he can't stand that way because
Right.
he's not a Chiweenie.
The beefy boy.
Yeah, and so he'll stand up
Yes,
and then
ma'am.
he puts his nose, like, right on the treat. And then he'll wait until I say okay, and then
That's
he takes
so
it.
cute.
It's pretty great.
So Ryan, you don't need to rough up the pebble leather.
No, so with a pebble grain and a lot of oil tans, you can get away without roughing the surface.
We're just holding the pocket in place.
Yeah, this isn't a structural gluing.
Yeah.
This is a sewing gluing.
And, like, but the Renia, I was so... We
This
were
stuff's
able
impressive.
to glue, the cabochons onto a piece of leather, and they held really well.
Yeah. But you do need to let it dry.
Yeah,
Like,
which is what we're doing right
the
now.
solvent-based glues, the Barge Masters, you can let it be still a little bit wet and get away with it. Not with Renia, as it turns out. Wait until it is clear and tacky. And then it's a little tricky then, because since it is so dry, when it
One
sticks,
shot.
it sticks.
Yeah.
It's not like Masters, or especially Van Grip, where you can try 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But that I'm
should
going to
do
call good, because we just have a couple white spots. And then I come in here and I use my non-glued part to line up, because I know roundabouts where everything else goes. Make sure that lines up straight, and then plop it down. Still got a little messy with my glue, but not too bad.
And that's why you got a glue eraser.
Yup. I also will always hammer my glue seams, so that's also saves on the roughing. All right, now we sew.
Yeah, and once again, like if we had like on some of the seam that we're gonna have down here, if we had smooth side with smooth side on some of
that bag
this,
I roughed up.
then you would want to rough that up because as you sew it, that might want to move on you if your adhesion isn't really good. But this pocket isn't going to go anywhere. Yeah. You don't have stress on it while you're attempting to work it. So there are things that you can get away with.
That particular side was
depending on your construction.
Waxy and oily.
Yeah.
So nothing wanted to stick to it, so I roughed it up really everywhere.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright, little pocket.
Yeah, Molly, we got some rocks here. Kevin went really crazy with the Vivianite and the Vandanite this year.
Hopefully this sounds all better on YouTube and on Facebook. I finally got it readjusted. Hopefully everybody can hear everything and it's not garbled. It was over processing.
Oh no, I hate it when my sound is over processed. Maybe that'll make me sound better though, Tony.
I prefer organic sound.
Maybe I won't be so scratchy.
You can make whale sounds if you need to do that. Or the most annoying sound in the world.
Nope.
You can do that as well. As seen on Dumb and Dumber. Some would say it's just my voice. And I would say they're wrong.
And you guys hold grudges.
Oh, that's for sure.
Boink.
I always like trying to get the corners nice and tidy. I never worried about it too much until I started, every project I sew, I'm sitting about a foot from Andy. And our favorite joke to do to each other is look over and go, oh, that's how you're doing that. Because if you're someone who is trying to do clean work all the time, that is a horrifying statement. And now it's just in my head to get those corners just bang on. Which, of course, the first one I didn't.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's live.
Still gonna be a nice bag. You go right against the leather.
It's Ralph Morrow. Looks like we got some oldies but goodies in our YouTube chat today. Some old regulars popping in saying hey.
Hey.
Omar's in there again.
Yeah. And we got
I
Ralph.
You were here when Omar came in. Omar was from
Georgia.
Omar, where are you from? Huh?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different person.
Well, that's great. My bobbin thread broke at some point.
I can't remember.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's fine. It just dropped the last stitch over the top here.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Just my back
That's
stitching
all
didn't
right.
happen, so I can
Did you answer what machine it was?
fix
This
it.
is a Class 26, a Cobra Class 26.
It's my favoriteest machine.
It's really it's the machine that we use almost exclusively, especially in our videos, unless we're doing something super heavy duty where we need to pull in our Class 3.
Yeah.
So.
Which you'll never see me on. I've already sewn through my finger with this machine. I don't need
Algeria.
Oh.
Algeria. Yeah.
Oh, how fancy.
And then he shared it to all of his friends.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for bringing that up. So, yesterday there was a situation apparently in Boston where our website and our point of sale system is housed on the interwebs.
You want the long story or the short story?
And it all went down. And it started coming back up last night. Like, it was like 5 o'clock. Like, everybody was leaving. And NetSuite, which is our back-end system, started to come back up. And we came in today to only, like, partial website workage. So Tony is having very
there's
pointed conversations with them right now.
There's 57 total items on our website. If any of those 57 you would like,
Go for
on
it.
the website you can get. I think you can call in and get them all from there.
Yeah, you can call in your order if you need to get it placed today. We do apologize. It is out of our control, though, and...
So the server house is in Boston. They had a fire alarm go off. I don't know if there was a fire that was involved with it, but usually when you have a fire alarm go off, there's a fire involved, so they turned off all the power to the server house.
Yeah. So
Not a bad plan, I guess.
yeah. So anyways, you know, technology and the internet, it happens sometimes. Things go down, and then you have to wait until they get back up. So we're in the waiting phase.
And this is one of those ones
I
that's
know,
so far
I
out of our
see
control.
I hate you sometimes.
It's only Chevy.
Oh,
Oh, hey, Chevy. Chevy, your sheath is amazing.
hey, Chevy.
I love it. It was better than mine that I did in like the same vein like 5 or 6 years ago. And it makes me a little sad, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful and lovely. So, it was, he's got a
There's your sip and your
cabochon.
fountain.
Yeah, he's got a cabochon in there. It's green. Like, it really just doesn't get any better than,
This camera's
than what
about
we
to
got
fall
going on.
out up above, Ryan. Do you care if I...
No, get in there. Get
Well-
cozy.
Come on in.
I could jump on the table if I need to.
Tony loves to jump on the table.
Oh, not that one.
What size thread are you using?
138 natural top and 69 natural bottom.
There we go.
I like, lately I've been enjoying a bit of contrast in my sewing. And 138 is also just a very good, reliable size. It works for most projects.
Yep.
It's a little chunky on a wallet interior, but not out of place by any means, so I kind of use it all the time. Alright, Leather Racer. Howdy, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Say hi to everybody.
Well, everybody.
Just you could just say hi
Yeah,
to him
yeah.
right there. Look, his hair isn't flying away today. Did you get a haircut?
No, I did not get a haircut.
But he brushed it.
Well, you look sharp.
Which
I will, thank you.
I don't think that he did in Tucson.
I didn't realize that you were happily videoing your happy self.
Oh,
yeah, we're
my
making your messenger bag.
My light isn't on.
Well, that's
Where's yours? You could bring it in. We could show everybody your messenger bag.
It's old, and worn out, and ugly. And
It's well
well loved.
used.
It is well used.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave this with you.
You got a little caiman skin for me?
Yeah, it's kind of a mistake-y thing. It's not a caiman, it's an American alligator.
Oh,
This little guy.
he's a little baby.
It's got a tear in it. There's a story.
I'll sell him for you.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Bye, everybody. They're really cool rocks.
They are.
Did
We
you
just
show-
came back from a whole week of buying all the rocks, and they're still really cool.
Did you show everybody?
Not yet. They kind of have seen, but after the show, we're gonna.
Yep.
We put them on Discord. They're on the
That's
Discord
phase
page.
2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I better run.
Okay.
Don't run, Kevin. It's not
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
walk.
Okay.
There you go.
Bye, Lawrence.
Alright, we're going to move on to starting to assemble some of the main pieces here. Along with the big changes, you know, it's not all one seam.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Oh, I moved it too far. I tried to move. I tried to place the table
You tried
correctly.
to play it blindly. She tried.
Well, I looked at the camera, but it
It,
wasn't.
was, it
on.
wasn't there. The camera wasn't on.
we've got
Thingy was there.
we've got tape, right? We can tape on the floor
No.
where it's
Oh.
supposed to be.
Because it
moves
moves.
everywhere, so it
Yeah,
has to be in
there
a
we
different
go.
position from live.
There we go.
I see.
Okay. Now we're good.
One thing I didn't change because I really liked it is to overlap these by 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
I can't remember if the original said to put the back on top or the front on top. I like the front on top, so that way that stack of seams is pointing away from the world. It's pointing towards your hip. So it hides it a little bit, makes it look a little neater. But basically it still sews up in a pile of parts.
Yeah, so okay, so we've got, so this is our flap. So the
Yes.
flap part is the one that has like the little clipped corners here so that it's easier to sew on.
Yep.
And then you have just a big rectangle and then a smaller rectangle.
Yep, so we've got the big rectangle, then the small tapered trapezoid.
Okay.
Then a big
With a
front with a
swoopy.
swoopy,
Yep.
and a smaller front with a
So
swoopy.
those are your 4 main
Yep.
body pieces.
2 gussets,
Right. And then the
Lid.
flap.
belt,
Okay.
buckle holders.
So how are we going to stack these up?
Now we will stack these up, and with this, you don't have to stack them all at once. You can do them one at a time.
Well, that's exciting. I love it when I can do things one thing
Really
at a time.
nice. Make sure you've got your burnished edge not where you're sewing it. I'm using 3/8 inch basting tape because it just saves me from measuring. Lining that right on my edge. Now with this, it's overlapping 3/8, but I'm not sewing a 3/8 stitch or a seam allowance. But all of this needs to have a little give. You don't want everything completely smashed down. Peel the tape off, which I am famously bad at on camera. Every time me and Justin shoot, that is like 10 minutes of the shoot is me trying to peel basting tape and rumbling under my breath.
You haven't quite gotten like the Clayton with your snips yet?
No, when no one's looking, yes.
Yeah, when the camera's on, it doesn't work.
Yep.
Camera turns off, first try, he's got it.
Because Justin's come back there and talked to me while I'm working. I'm just throwing basting tape.
Dean, this is just a odd lot $20.
Yep.
Like it's upholstery side. So this is a odd lot upholstery grade
what,
leather.
911 171? I think something like that.
I don't know. So this is, I don't know how much of this particular leather we have, but this is part of the selection that you could get if you bought a $20 side.
And this
$20 piece.
bag, which I mean, I'd probably sell for 80 to 100 is what I'd try to sell it for if I'd made it. Is half of a $20 side.
There you go. So you get two.
Excluding the shoulder strap, but I wouldn't use upholstery for a shoulder strap either, so that'll come out of a separate stash. Alright, so I just lined up my 1/8 inch tape with the bottom edge of my straight piece and the bottom edge of my other piece.
There you go.
So now I know I've got a 3/8 inch allowance. With this, I've got the
What happened there?
roller
Oh,
guide.
you moved the table.
Oh, right.
I've got the roller guide lifted slightly, so that way I can cruise over one layer while running against the edge of the other.
Janie, at this point, the only edges that are burnished are the top edges of everything. So, like, once you got it assembled, they would be difficult to burnish on their own. And we used Toconol to burnish them because it is a oil / upholstery leather. So that is mainly what this product is for. This will burnish veg tan, but it is made.
It will burnish everything.
Yes.
Now, this is great. There's a little secret hidden wheel right here. Oh, it's just off camera. That raises and lowers your roller guide. It's a fantastic little thing that is so hard to find if you don't know it's there. So that way I can run multiple layers. And then I'm sticking within your standard roundabout's 8 inch.
Glad to hear it, Nebraska.
And I'm going up to right about an 1/8 inch from the edge, just to keep things nice and tidy. I used a sewing machine with a clutch motor a while back.
Oh, yeah? Did you enjoy that?
No! I love being able to make the needle take an hour to punch a hole because sometimes I need it to do that.
You're like, I almost sewed through my finger again.
Yeah, I don't need that again.
Did we answered Dean again that this was a $20 oil pan?
Correct.
E.
Yeah. I think I got them.
I just couldn't remember the SKU off the top of my head.
It's probably not on the website anyways.
Yeah, it's true.
It's on the website. Good luck finding it.
Yeah,
But,
maybe they add things back like one thing at a time.
I'm not really sure
I'm
how
not
it's
sure what's going to
propagated
happen.
to the website, but it's terrific however they're doing it.
Alrighty, so we've got
It's better than us having to
the
do
first two on.
it. Yes.
So these are the insides.
Yes.
These are the insides of our bag.
That is something that threw me off the first time I looked over this pattern a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And gave up on it. Was, in my mind, I was like, no, pockets go on the inside. Why would I put them on the outside? Then I finally saw the bag all put together and I was like, oh, I would like a pocket
Right
without
there.
having to open it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Now these, you don't really need to worry about what order you do them in, just whatever floats your boat. I'm going to do the back pocket first to find my burnished edge, because this pocket is not square, it is tapered. As you can see, oh, sorry.
You're good.
As you can see, it lines up at the bottom, sticks out a little bit at the top, so that way when I sew it in, it will pucker and give you that open pocket.
A little bit of room in there to get your fingers in.
Yep. And again, I'm just going to tape this because this has even less odd forces than the pocket did.
Yep.
You see what Chevy said?
Yes. I wasn't going to toot my own horn though, so but I'll just read it in
I'll beat before you. Well, if it
toot, toot.
greases your wheels, Liz, I looked at your Instagram for knowledge and inspiration. Oh, Chevy, that's not my car.
I like fishing through Liz's Instagram for sheath stuff too. It's so cool.
I should post more.
I have secretly been studying how to do inlay from Liz's work. And I've asked you a lot of questions about it.
This one's not a free pattern.
No. This is an update to an existing pattern.
There was a YouTube short, right, on the
Accordion bag.
That came free that you probably can't get to right now because the website's still down.
Morning, Dan.
Ish.
It's visible, just not useful at the moment.
We got a greetings from Hong Kong.
Wow.
Hey.
June Wong, welcome.
Yeah.
This one, put your tape on the outer pocket and just butt it up against your existing stuff. It looks nice and flush now. As soon as it bends, it's going to open up. But this is not a modern polished bag. This is a classic,
it's a rustic,
clean. Like I don't know. It's rustic-ish.
I guess it depends on the
But
leather
it's still
that you use.
it still benefits from like tidy work. But it's not going to be this pristine stuff.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, it's a pretty simple, straightforward construction. It just with some of these gusset things, the construction can get difficult, but it's still a simple, conceptual idea.
Right. I would safely say this is a good beginner pattern. If you want to really get your feet wet, try your hand at it. The tool requirement for it is really light. Hand stitching kit and a knife.
And the hammer to set some rivets.
Good to go. And basting tape.
Yeah.
Hole punch. Yada yada. So with this, there is no way to use a roller guide on this seam.
Oh, sorry.
But on the 26, the foot is right about 1/8 of an inch wide between where the inside edge of your foot and the needle is. So you can use edge of foot as a ballpark edge guide. Does require a little more focus.
Yeah, Heath. We maybe you missed the whole thing. Yes, our website it was completely down yesterday, so you can get to it today. They're just not all of our stuff is there. In fact, very little stuff is there. There were, technology and the internet. There was our server place in Boston had a situation that transpired. All of our stuff went down because they turned off all the power to the servers, and now it's slowly coming back online. It's just one of the perils of the modern world, and how it's just a thing that you have to deal with from time to time. But
Yep. And in the middle of a splitter upgrade, fun day yesterday.
yeah, I mean, it was all right.
We got a lot done still.
Yeah, we could do a lot, and we didn't have a lot of orders to fill because nothing was coming in.
Hopefully we can get covered.
It happens.
So you can see, using edge of foot as a guide, I'm just a hair closer on the one I just sewed than the previous one, but not enough to really care about.
Nope, that's all right. I bet if you didn't even tell them, they wouldn't know, and nobody's going to judge you.
Well, I just want to let them know in case they've got a customer that's like, no, exactly 1/8 inch.
What would be good for shotgun shafts?
Ships?
I feel like a 3 to 4 ounce.
Oil tan would be
Ma'am.
fine.
Yeah, like a flexible oil tan.
If that was the $50 size wouldn't be really a flexible one unless you got 2 pebble ones.
The 20s would be good.
But
If you could get a whole leg out of it.
Get a leg out of it.
Yeah. Plus, I don't.
Not the shotgun ones.
That is a order note that is definitely honored back in Gathering, is when it's like $50 sides or $20 sides and it says like preferably 2 matching sides.
Well, the customer
They'll
notes.
dig.
Customer notes is really good for anybody ordering.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you let us know what you're building, what you're
Yes.
going to be doing, then they know better what to cut.
Yeah.
If you ever get connected to me and say, I need a soft brown leather, I'm going to have follow-up questions. Because that gets me about halfway there. Alright, so this front panel is a little tougher to line up, but you can really easily feel where that bottom seam ends, and that's what I'm butting up against now.
So if you could take your
Yeah.
thing and you could really make yourself a line, or
Go
you
in
could
there
just
and really
feel it.
work it.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm lining it up. So I end up with a nice firm bottom to this bag, so if I set it down or whatever, it's not just going to collapse on itself.
That was the great face you
That
guys
get
missed
you?
it. That was pretty good.
You can still buy leather, Heath. In fact, you might find a dog bone on the website.
Oh, is that live?
Is the dog bone up?
There's a dog bone on the website that holds a little special feature.
I haven't seen the old dog bone in a while.
That's because it only comes up every now and then. Well, Steve, like,
Oh, Luna.
It's
People
not called
got
for.
this pattern. We said there was a video for it, and it turns out there wasn't a video for it. So here we
Here we
are.
are.
And we decided while we're at it, let's update it. Let's refresh it. It's an oldie but a goodie.
I think this is one of our originals back in the day.
It looks like it when you print it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that old brush script.
Yep.
Salty, I would show you what I'm talking about with the $20 sides, but it's not available for me to show you.
With that leather. Oh. Yeah, Charlie, sorry. Well, this leather might be a little firm.
Scrumble.
Shotguns are the ones that go all the way down your leg, right, and zip
They're
up.
the zip ones, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably be all right. It is a little bit firm.
I mean, like the coolest would be Herman Oak Heritage, but
That'd be some expensive chaps. But yeah, that would be pretty lovely. Those would be pretty great. You could probably get both legs out of those. Sides are so big.
massive.
They're like 28 feet. You could probably definitely lay out both of your legs in there.
So now I'm back on the sewing machine, and I can use the roller guide again because
You've
I
got an
have an
edge.
exposed edge. And I did raise my roller guide a little bit because I'm now sewing over more layers.
Who's one pony dad?
Ryan.
Ryan, that's right.
I'm Ryan. Come on, Thread, stop fighting me. So Liz, what fun stories do you have from Tucson
Oh, let's see here.
while I sew silently?
So we flew out. Our flights went really well, so that was really lovely. Kevin and Becky came and picked up Chris and myself and Shanna from our homes about 5:30 in the morning on Friday of the week before last, and got us to the airport by about 6. Our flight was at 7:30, so we, checked our one bag, went through our adorable little security line.
Is that
That there was no line.
I love the Springfield Airport
I love
so
this.
much.
It's so cute and quaint. We have one little coffee shop that's perfect.
It's really
Shannon
pretty,
and I-
too.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's new. It's clean.
Little art
it's
gallery.
Nice. So got all checked in, got on the flight, got down to Dallas. There was still snow piles in Dallas from the weather that they had gotten, but no delays. So they did have an issue with their little subway system, their little Airbus system, that only one of the buses was running, like one of the trains
Oh my
was running,
goodness.
and so we did have to wait like 3 or 4 trains before we could get on because there were so many people at the airport by the time we got to Dallas.
And those are a pretty long ride on a good day.
And
those
we had to go
trains.
all the way around. Like, I was like, Chris, I feel like we could have walked back, but I don't actually know in Dallas if you can walk between the terminals.
I have no idea.
I don't know if that's possible.
The airport's
So
overwhelming.
I think that they're all separate.
No, you have to take, in Dallas, I believe you have to take a train. In
Yes.
Chicago, you can walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's a long
so,
way.
but we had, so like, the train that was running was going the opposite direction that we needed to go, so we had to go through every single one of the stops, and it was like the one before the one that we got on is the one that we needed to
Oh
get
my
to.
gosh.
I know, so it was a long, and it was a little sardine packed, but we got there, and then as soon as we got off the bus, like, our plane was already loading. We sat at the back row on both of those rides, which was actually quite lovely, because
Yeah,
once the
usually-
plane landed, and then we could get up and just like hang out, I could use the bathroom while I waited for all the traffic to get off, and it wasn't a big deal because we were just right there. It was fine.
You have changed the way I book
So-
plane seats whenever I do that again.
Yeah,
in
because if you're
1,000
in the
years.
middle of the plane, you still have to wait the 20 to 30 minutes for it to unload, and you have to pee.
Yeah.
You can't go backwards anymore.
No.
Like it's already full. Like and
And-
you can't get back through.
Because I usually go wing because I am 6'2" and mostly leg, so
Yeah.
wing seats are pretty clutch.
Yeah, the back seat was lovely. I did not mind it at all.
That's a pro tip.
And then there's nobody sitting behind you kicking you.
That's nice. No one's foot
All right.
between seats
That's
coming
right.
up. All right, so there we are with all of our body layers put together.
Our body is put together.
Yep, it's all these happy layers.
Sweet.
You can see when the gusset comes, there's gonna be some more gluing and wrestling to be done. But we'll move on to the gussets now.
Okay.
So we can get those prepped because
When does this sew on?
the lid, right before we sew the rest on.
Okay.
It's easy enough, just before we sew the gussets because this needs to flop back.
Yep.
Then you sew it on.
Okay.
But it's all soft leather, so you can pretty easily just roll it up and get this whole thing in your sewing machine, no problem.
Zip that lid right on.
Another reason I like the 26. It's got a very long and tall throat to it. But we will go on to this. Actually, do you want to glue those?
Yep.
Oh, wait. No, we gotta do that first. Gotta do the lid first, then we can glue those.
I can glue this though.
Yeah, you can glue that one.
Okay.
Swoop. Alright, so you a silver pen if you'd like, or you just eyeball it?
Nah, yeah, I'll be good.
Cool. So I've got everything
I
pretty
understand what
punched
you
here,
mean
pretty
now.
much.
The top.
Yeah.
I will mark the top. Just kidding.
Here you go. Whoop. We're cruising. Clearly, me and Liz have done a lot of videos together lately. It happens all the time.
We're good.
I went with some center bar buckles. I need to remember to take out of inventory. That's the wrong one. There we go. I just really enjoy which camera am I on? This guy. These 1-inch roller buckles, I think they're great for straps. They are plenty strong for this bag. And I just think they look sharp tucked up under the lid flap. And I enjoy roller buckles.
Oh, what's the item number? Did you give it?
Oh, on the roller buckles, it is 4-174006.
There you go. So that is, you can use whatever 1-inch buckle you would like to use. That's
But
what we're
this
using.
particular one. And of course, rivets. For this, they're small nickel rivets to match the buckles. Whatever sort of color you're using, it's always nice to have matching buckle and rivet. And on this bag, that is all the hardware.
Yeah.
Is 2 buckles and 2 rivets. So that's pretty easy if you want to do a weird hardware to make it all match. Because I know a lot of times I want to do brass hardware or black hardware, and it suddenly limits your options greatly.
Wayne Liz on YouTube said you were going through the big D and you do mean Dallas.
That's right. I do mean Dallas.
So this one, it's simple little straps. This will all be on the pattern as to where to place the holes and where to cut your slot. For this, I just used my 3/32 hole punch and a 1-inch slot punch. Because 3/32 is almost always going to be the right size for double cap rivets, no matter what size double cap rivet you use. It works well for line 20 snaps as well. But this, I like to rivet it down to my gusset first, and then stitch it just around the bottom end. Because rivets are great and wonderful. They are not something I trust a whole bag to. Some people do, and they've had no problems. I have had many problems.
Sorry, guys.
I'm like, I've moved that dang thing once already.
I know.
Pattern number, the current version, which is quite a bit different than this one, is 1442200 for there, Janie. We'll be coming out with the 2.0 version. I don't know if we're just going to replace the existing one or what. Yeah, so it'll probably be the same number.
Yeah. We'll just use the same number.
But instead of messenger bag, we have messenger bag 2.0. When you're setting your buckle to your gusset here, just make sure that your roller is pointed up towards your little rain flaps. Because if it's pointed down, the roller won't really contribute. And the tongue
will
be
not work
pointed the wrong
correctly.
way. Yeah. So the short way to say it is if it's pointed down, that's wrong. Stop it.
We're using a silicone brush. I would
Yes.
send you the link, but I don't have it.
Renia makes that, and it's delightful. It's almost like they made a brush specifically for the glue they make.
It is lovely.
Clever how that worked out. You got a slab of granite or something? Excuse me, loons. Sorry, dear. Scoot, scoot, scoot.
Silicone brush is not one of the 59 items that's currently on the website.
Please give our website approximately, we don't know how long, maybe another 24 hours. But you can always call in your order and you say, I want the silicone glue brush. It's the only silicone item that we sell, so our little office team can just type silicone into our fancy little computer system and it'll pop up for them. And all will be well.
And our office has been killing it the last couple days.
Yeah, our office is amazing as always.
Oh yeah, one thing I've seen a lot of people ask about it, and a lot of people do it one way or the other. With double cap rivets, the way I like to do it is put the cap on the bad side of my project, the
back
inside,
The backside.
and I like to drive the rivet into the cap. I've seen people do it the other way. I've never had any luck with that.
I do also like to do. And the thing, guys, with double cap rivets is, like, it needs to be... This is why when
Take
people
your
are like,
time setting it.
what size rivet do I need? I just say buy a 100-pack of all the sizes. It's like $4 or $5 per size. You can get
sell
all of
50
them.
packs. Get those.
I don't think we do anymore. That's
I just got these out of...
okay. I think they're gonna go away.
Okay, well, we currently have some.
yeah. We're making some inventory changes here.
Yeah. We're down to 50 items.
And so, yeah, get yourself some of each, because the thing with double cap rivets is, like, the post, you can't shorten these posts. They're very specific. It's not like, I mean, you can kind of, but like, it's
I've made
not
it work.
ideal.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not ideal. So just get all the sizes, and then you want, like, the best fit. Like, there really should not be a lot of room after you snap that cap on. It should be decently snug, because then you're going to drive it all together. And leather compresses.
A lot.
So you want that compression, and you want it to stick, because if you have a whole bunch of posts, you're going to end up with this cockeyed situation that's not setting properly. You also don't want the hole to be very large.
Yes.
You want the hole to be pretty much the same size, or maybe a little bit smaller if your leather is stretchy.
So I do 3/32. It's a nice snug fit for the post. And yeah, if you set it and it shears while you're setting because it's too long, it will break. As soon as any weight's on it, it's going to break.
Yeah. That's,
My reference point, I don't know if you can see it. Let's try and get up to this camera with a nice backdrop here. See that little dimple there? That is kind of what the cap snaps onto when you just loose set it. I use that. My leather needs to be no lower than that.
Correct.
Like, if that's just poking up, perfect.
Yeah.
If there's any breathing room between that dimple and the surface of my leather, it's too long. If that's just below the leather, that's fine. It'll squeeze. I would rather be a little short and just pull it out and get a bigger one than be a little long, shear it, have to get your hoof clippers, cut it, hope you don't mess up your leather in the process, yada, yada, yada. Alright, now I'm going to sew these on, just going to stitch, just whoop, right around the bottom.
whoop.
I'm in a good mood. Sound effects happen more. I also personally just like using a polished hammer and granite or steel to set my rivets because I like a flat rivet.
Mash them flat.
Yep, and I don't like the little ring dimple
Where
that.
did I put my setter? I don't know. Mash it flat.
That's right.
And I don't like the little ring dimple that a setter can leave sometimes if you hit it too hard.
I'll say the only time that I will use a setter is if it's in a awkward spot where I can't hammer and I need to get above
And then you
what
can
I'm
turn your
doing.
setter upside down.
And you use
and
a flat.
use the flat part and mash it flat.
I have often used a steel ruler for like one of our clips is hard to get at one of the rivets. So I'll set it up here and have a steel roller running in, and then hit the ruler, and it'll like a really stiff one.
Well, and that's also like that's what those shoehorns are really nice for, like those cobblers anvils that you can buy, because you can get kind of into weird spots to set rivets with those cobbler anvils.
If you
Cobbler sounds good.
like
if you forget
cobbler
to
does
set a
sound good.
D-ring on a gusset until the very end of the bag, you can get in there and do it.
Let's hear it. So Ryan said solid rivets versus double cap rivets. They each have their place.
Yep.
Like for me, I don't know if I would necessarily go so far as to put a rivet and burr in this bag. I think it's kind of overkill. But if you're making like a dog lead for a working dog, definitely rivet and burr all the way. I would never use, a double cap rivet in a working lead.
No.
You can maybe use a couple of them plus stitching, but like, if you're using harness leather or heavyweight veg tan and you're making like one of those nice, like a police lead or anything like that, rivet and burr, because that is a working, or like, when people are building their saddles, you don't use any double cap rivets in a saddle. You only use rivet and burrs for your attachments. Those are working rivets. But, if you're putting bags together or different things where you can incorporate stitching plus the rivet, or if you can use a couple rivets, or especially, like the top of a bag to secure your stitch seams, double cap rivet. Like, that's going to be perfectly fine.
I trust them, but not with any serious weight or strain.
Yeah.
Dean had the best use for a setter
Oh, yeah?
when pheasant hunting.
Hick. Ah, my foot stuck between the sewing machine and the table. Ah, there we go. Alright, so those are sewn on, just a quick zip around the bottom to add a little extra strength to it. It's one of those things that visually I could take it or leave it, but structurally I have left it before and regretted it.
Yeah.
Luckily it was on a bag I'd made myself. Now I just carry it by the handle because the strap broke off and I haven't bothered to fix it. One of my first bags. I was like, I know what I'm doing, I'm ready to make myself a nice bag. I made a massive satchel type bag out of black Excel. And boy, it's falling apart because I did not know what I was doing, but it is a giant hand sewn bag.
Yeehaw.
That was back when I was still in ecom.
Alrighty, that panel's sewn on. You've got your gussets assembled. It is getting close to noon, and I feel
I think
like...
we're at a good stopping point
Yep,
then.
I think on Friday we can finish it all up.
Yep.
We'll show you how to hand sew the bottom of the thing.
Yes.
Because that's going to take a minute. Kind of putting these gussets in will take a little bit of time, but I think
Between now and then, I'll pick us out a nice strap.
Dean, Heath, we're like just about anybody else that you would get, and you can get your financing. We have a company that we work with.
Yeah.
And so there's links.
So
on
we
all
don't
of them.
finance here in-house, but there's a link on every single
It should pop up.
machine.
Low level right before the purchase.
Yeah, it's like finance to get qualified.
Nice.
So,
It should be on anything that's over like $1,000. You can finance. Whether you get approved or not for it, that's not up to us.
that is correct.
Yep. Well, yeah, I think that is all I've got to show you for today.
Sweet.
I'm debating still adding one more thing to this pattern
That's what we've got.
and adding a handle. Like
Yeah.
right, I'm debating adding a handle like right here.
Oh, just like a...
Yeah,
What's
'cause
the closure on it?
I like that. Just a flap.
It's just the flap. So you can put whatever closure here you'd like.
Yeah, if you put a handle, you probably had to have a closure, otherwise.
Well, it would pull off the back.
It'd be right
Oh, I see.
behind
Yeah.
the crown.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yep.
Yeah. It could sew in to your flap.
Yeah, like before you put it on.
Well, just it could sew into
Oh,
that.
oh, and it's just a little whoop.
Uh-huh. I know.
Look at you. This will have a handle on it Friday.
So, yeah. So, this is where we're at. We've got the body assembled here. We've got our gussets assembled, so we will take that up on Friday. We will get the gussets installed, the flap on. Looks like we're going to make a couple fun additional
On the fly adjustments.
on the fly things here.
Oh yeah, you can show off how that pocket sits now that it's
Oh, yeah.
glued up.
So-
that half-inch taper makes a big difference.
Yeah, you want to go to the overhead real fast?
I can.
Thank you.
He
So
doesn't
we've got
want to.
so there's like a little bit of a pucker, which is just
Yep.
really nice. It adds just a bit of space
I
here.
think everybody loves a little pucker.
Everybody loves
And
a
that
little
is, yeah, it is seriously. I think it's 9.5 inches wide at the bottom. It's 10 inches wide at the top,
pucker. Yep. So just
and that's all it takes.
just a little bit.
And that's more than enough. If you do more than that, it gets weird.
It gets weird. It's too puckery.
One thing I noticed is on this particular side I used, there's a big break in the grain right here. So it's always going to look like that because that's the softest part suddenly on the leather. So this one will never have a nice curve, but the back one does have a nice even opening.
Yeah.
So, but
Very
yeah,
nice.
Hey,
Alrighty, guys. Give us a couple seconds here. We're gonna flip over to Twitch, and we are gonna show you guys the cabochons that I brought back from Tucson that I'm very excited about. I bought so much stuff for you guys. I had a great time shopping.
Hopefully the sound fixed up for everybody.
So,
I hope.
alrighty, and then tomorrow, Tony, are we gonna do some goats?
You mean sell some goats?
Mhm.
Yeah, we can sell some goats.
So we got more Italian goats in. For those of you live shoppers that were here a couple months ago, Rusty bought a box of Italian goats. We sold all of it in our live shopping, and then I was like, hey, I bet we could sell some more of those goats, Rusty, if you wanted to order some more. So we did. They got here last week. So Tony and I will probably have some of that, plus a couple other things on our table tomorrow. So come join us for live shopping at 2 p.m. Central on Facebook for the time being. That's still where we're doing it,
Twitch,
despite
Twitch for rocks.
everybody's.
Twitch for
Yep,
rocks.
and then switch over to Twitch, which I know a ton of you made accounts for
Hey.
here a few weeks ago because there was a bit of a hoopla during live shopping right before I left. So everybody switch over and we will sell some cabs.
Twitch.tv and then search for Springfield Leather
So.
Club all together.
Okay,
It's a beautiful ring.
We will see you in a minute.
See
Nobody
everybody.
said anything about your ring that I saw, Liz.
I was saying, I just noticed. I was like,
Let's
that's
show
a
it off
gorgeous
before we go.
ring.
This is what Chris got me in Tucson. So that's a piece of rutilated quartz that you can't really see because
And-
I don't know how to turn my hand.
The
Oh my
overhead
God.
would be way
Thanks.
easier, yeah.
Thanks.
The Damascus looks really pretty. Oh, it matches the quartz so well.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So anyways, this is my new amazing,
Punching ring.
yeah, defense mechanism. This
All
is
right, say
yours,
bye.
and this is yours.
Bye, everybody.